Hi, Nitty.
Hi, Lois.
Hi.
Coming right.
Good morning, and we're all here today to support Nathan and Susie around a path plan. So looking at the future for Nathan and where Nathan's going and how things might look for Nathan into the future. So I'm Tony McLean and I'm from Imagine Better, and this is our wonderful artist, Georgia.
Hi.
So what we're going to do today is, this is our sort of blank path. This is the framework, and it's got a number of sections. So the first section that we're going to talk about and I'm going to ask you about is to tell us about who Nathan is. Who he is as a man, a guy, who he is as a family member, who he is as a brother, who he is as a member of the church, a school, all these sorts of things. So we're going to sort of build a picture of who Nathan is as a person. And then we're going to talk about what sort of future you guys want to have for Nathan. What sort of future would be positive, would be possible, would be the ideal future that we could imagine in our mind for Nathan. And then we're going to think about how it is now. So we'll have a direct contrast between where Nathan's going to go and where he is. And then we're going to fill in these next few steps along the way, which really just help us plot out how we're going to get from here through to the future for Nathan. Tell us about who Nathan is as a young man, as a brother, as what his personality's like.
Well, Nathan's the youngest of six.
Youngest of six.
Youngest of six.
5 siblings.
He's got 5 siblings. 2 are represented here today. He's got a big sister who lives in Auckland with her 3 children. So he's got 3 nieces and 1 niece and two nephews in Auckland.
Yes.
And he's got 3 nieces and nephews who live down here. So Nathan's kind of had lots of input from all of his siblings. He's nearest in age to Ben, so he really bounces off Ben quite a bit. And he's looks on Kelly like his second mum, because Kelly's always sort of been very the motherly kind of role. So, and he loves his brothers and sisters for lots of different reasons, and he loves his nieces and nephews for lots of different reasons. So, in terms of who is Nathan, Nathan's a very complex little boy.
Not so little anymore.
No.
Is he, Mum?
No. No. I do. He's the baby of the family, I guess, so you kind of do forget that. But, yes, Nathan is 15 and as tall as me now. So, probably if he was standing, I wouldn't have forgotten that right now. He loves animals, he loves swimming, he loves riding, he loves drama and dance, he loves being with his niece and nephews, and with his brother and his sisters. He just loves, he's got a capacity for life, I think. Nathan has. Loves being around other children his own age, or even older. He just loves being around others.
So very social.
Very
loves
social.
that contact and social interaction.
Which is interesting because he's very non-verbal. He's just starting to become more verbal. We're doing sign language with Nathan.
So how would you describe your brother, Pete? A rat bag. A rat bag? Okay. That's a nice, only a brother could get away with that really, wouldn't they, you know?
Well, he's a normal brother. He invades my space.
Yeah.
Goes into my room and messes up my stuff.
Communication's a difficulty
Yeah,
for Nathan, hey?
Yes,
Does he signs?
Does uses sign language?
Yeah. He uses sign language, and school uses it a lot, and it's quite a new thing. We've just gone to the New Zealand Sign Language for the Deaf, and he's picked it up, and it's actually really helped with his speaking.
So it's fair to say that communication is a challenge for Nathan and for other people around him. So if you don't know sign language, that's going to be tricky for Nathan to communicate and vice versa. So, a part of who Nathan is includes this aspect around communication and some of his challenges around communication. So Nathan's a youth group member. What's the name of the youth group?
Choice Makers.
Choice Makers Youth Group. Yeah, fantastic. And how many other members, kids, are at the youth group in Choice Makers?
Up to 30.
Up to 30, yeah. So it's another whole network of relationships and connections that Nathan has through the... And then also a member of St. Chad's Church, that's right? Yeah. So a church member and a member of the youth group. So a student at what school?
New Plymouth Boys High.
New Plymouth Boys High School.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's doing more stuff this year, enjoying it. He just loves joining in. He's the same at school as he is everywhere else. He likes doing what the other kids do, and he's really, really helpful. They're trying to find roles for him now in the classroom.
Yes.
Putting up the chairs, taking down the chairs, doing things for the teachers and stuff like that, which is keeping him engaged in the activity in the classroom. Maybe he can't do the science that they're doing, and there again maybe he can, but giving him a pivotal, important role in that classroom has been really good for Nathan, because he feels a part. He's locked in. It's just been a big thing for Nathan.
So can you tell us, you've got a whole bunch of pictures and prompts and things here. Tell us about that. That's obviously an important aspect of...
This is something we've just learned from TalkLink about storyboards.
Right.
And I have to say I was a little bit anti, but I don't think I quite understood before. And it's more about prompts.
So how would you describe Nathan's personality as his nature?
Nathan's quite faceted with his nature. You get him around Deanna and around Mum, and he's the most caring, sweetest boy that you'll ever meet. Well, in general, he's just a really, really sweet boy.
Yeah.
He gets the most interest with
His brothers and sisters.
it's language.
As it should be. As it should be.
He's definitely, he's a really outgoing, caring sort of kid. He gives anyone the time of day if he could. Other times he just wants to be
Yeah, this time he wants time out. He
Just
likes
by
time
himself as well,
out.
yeah.
Yep, he likes time out. He likes to go to his room if you're left alone. And if you intrude on those moments, he pushes you out the door and shuts the door behind you quite firmly. So you know, no, this is Nathan's time out.
The grumpy cow. So you were going to say something, Ben?
I tried to go in his room and he just goes, "Hi, Ben," gives me a hug. Starts nudging me out the door. I'm like, "Hi, baby." And then it's like, "Bye."
So Nathan's 15 years of age, young man, and he's the youngest sibling of 6. He lives at home with his mum in New Plymouth, and he attends New Plymouth Boys High School, where he's in his year 10. I still keep thinking 4th form, 3rd form. So year 10, and just started in, and that's hasn't been without some challenge, would be safe to say. There's been some difficulties, there's been some transition for the school and for Nathan, and he's there and he's participating in the school, but in a sense of building friendships and relationships with other kids within the school, that's very limited. It's not sort of getting those connections and friendships like a lot of kids would when they go to school. They'd expand their network and their social. But he's a very social guy. He loves that contact. He loves being around people. He loves hanging out, and he sort of is very good at that on a social level. But there are also times when Nathan likes to just have some space by himself. Nathan has a lot of difficulty with communicating, and there's been a whole bunch of sort of strategies investigated, and sign language is a big part of that, and so are graphics and pictures and imagery, and there's a whole lot of further exploration going on around communication. But at times Nathan can communicate really, really effectively, and he can tell you what he needs and what he wants. But probably to people that don't know him so well, that's going to be a challenge. But there's a sort of part of Nathan that sort of drives him to go at times. And so again, over the years, there's been a lot of strategies in place to sort of help protect Nathan and so that he doesn't get himself out into extreme or into situations that might be unsafe. And schools, to be fair to say, struggling with this issue as well. They are struggling with how do they meet their obligations and responsibilities as a school, and how do they support Nathan in his ability and his need to explore the world and do that sort of stuff. So there's a tension point, another tension point there around that. He's lovable. He loves the social aspects of life. Nathan also enjoys drama and dance and is involved in a drama and dance group that meets weekly. Is it weekly, Susie? Yep, meets weekly. Loves swimming and goes to swimming down at Karoa pools and is involved in swimming, learning to swim and enjoying that as well. Attends a local church, St Chad's Church, and is an active member in the church. And also is a part of the Choice Makers youth group, which is attached with St Chad's Church. And he loves movies, and particularly at the moment Madagascar and Lion King, and loves movies. Eh? Bad knobs and broomsticks. And at times he can have a very strong independent will. So if you want Nathan to do something and he didn't want to do it, it's just not going to happen, is it?
No.
It's just not going to happen. Loves his animals, and a part of the family life and family home includes a wide range of animals and pets. So Nathan's used to having a role in supporting and feeding and looking after the animals and the pets of home life. And
he likes being helpful in general. He just likes being helpful. If you give him a job to do, he'll usually get on with it, unless it's when he doesn't want to do it, and then he'll skive off halfway through.
Yeah, even he knows that now. He's like,
he knows.
It's just a guy thing, right?
But it's a good point, because one of the things we also talked about was the fact that Nathan understands a heck of a lot more than what he can communicate.
He's quite
at times.
dedicated. Like, he knows when people are upset, he'll come up and hugs them.
Yeah.
If you're upset and crying, or just he's quite intuitive to people's emotions.